p.m. and I just left the Mount Rainier PTO meeting. And I'll be emailing the council as they have a request from us as Mount Rainier Council, and they also had a request for Brentwood Council as well. Basically regarding reducing the speed in front of the schools to 50 miles per hour and crosswalks along Shepherd to make it safer for the students to walk and commute to school. Okay. And I see Jared, Jimmy, Valerie. Okay. Seeing that we have a quorum, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. And thumbs up if you heard what I said by any chances. Okay, good. So for the record, I let you guys know, and you guys will be getting an email as well. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Today, Tuesday, November 1st. And this is a virtual meeting. I will ask our Vice Mayor, Jared Stolfus, to please lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Go ahead, Jared.
Yep. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Jared. So we're going to move on to item number 2, review of the agenda. Mayor and Council review the agenda for the meeting, adding the leading topics of interest or discussion. At this point, the Vice Mayor will read the agenda aloud. Council, please listen through, and if something you'd like to remove from the agenda, let us know. Okay, go ahead, Jared.
Agenda of the legislative meeting of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Mount Rainier, Tuesday, November 1st, 2022, 7 p.m. Number 1, call to order and pledge of allegiance. Number 2, review of the agenda. The Mayor and Council review the agenda for the meeting, adding their leading topics of interest or discussion. Number 3, Mayor and Council members event announcements. Number 4, public comment. Number 5, presentation and discussion on building application 4105 30th Street. I'm sorry, folks. The Mayor and Council will discuss the building application for 4105. Yeah, I'm sorry. 4105 30th Street, Mount Rainier, Maryland. Number 6, presentation discussion on Mount Rainier, joining a select cohort of cities to pilot an awareness campaign to drive adoption of the Affordable Connectivity Program. Partnership with the Maryland Office of Statewide Broadband, the national nonprofit Education Superhighway will make a presentation to the Mayor and Council on Mount Rainier joining select cohort of cities to pilot an awareness campaign to drive adoption of the Affordable Connectivity Program, federal benefit that provides $45 a month discount for eligible residents. Number 7, the City Clerk will present the October 18th, 2022 work session minutes to Mayor and Council. Number 8, ARPA discussion and vote. Mayor and Council have a discussion and vote on the City Manager's recommendation on the proposal contractor for Potts Hall, extension on ARPA consultant contract, and bike co-op windows and rear shelter replacement. Number 9, discussion and vote on the Arts Commission 2022 Arts Project. The Arts Commission will, I'm sorry, folks. The Arts Commission will present its recommendation to the Mayor and Council for Artists for its 2022 art banner project in the city's downtown core. Number 10, first reading of the resolution for 2022 proposed budget calendar for the fiscal year 2024 budget. The Mayor and Council will have the first reading of resolution number 4, 2022 proposed budget calendar for the fiscal year 2024. Number 11, discussion appointment to Police Advisory Board. And number 12, vote on approval of minutes for May 18th, 2021 work session, September 20th, 2022 work session, October 6th, legislative meeting and public hearing. And number 13, adjournment.
Thank you so much, Eric. Councilmembers, is there anything you'd like to withdraw from the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, I will proceed with the agenda as presented. Please make a note that Councilmember Luke Chesick has joined the meeting. Okay, so we're gonna have Mayor and Councilmember events announcements. We will start with Ward 2. We're gonna go Valerie, Jared, Jimmy, Luke. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, sorry everyone, I'm driving, so I can't look at my notes. So if Jared could go next, that would be helpful.
Perfect, Jared, go ahead.
Apologies on this, Valerie. I actually have nothing to add.
Jimmy, and then Luke.
My only announcement is that the CERT committee recently activated is looking for people to join the committee and also to get training. What we're trying to do is get a cadre of people who are trained in kind of emergency response and are available for city events and for possible to support the police and our firefighters in case of an event in our city. The meetings are now on the fourth Monday of the month, and they're at City Hall starting at 7:30. So the next meeting will be the fourth Monday of, I think it's the, I don't know, the fourth Monday of this month, whatever that date is. It's
Okay.
it's Monday 28th at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, Luke.
On November 12th, that's a Saturday, a week from this coming Saturday, so almost 2 weeks away. We'll be doing a cleanup of a little forested area next to the railroad tracks and in between a few of the industrial properties on the south side of town. We'll be meeting at 8:30 in the morning on Saturday, November 12th. There will be, this is in partnership with the University of Maryland and MNCPPC's Good Neighbor program. So there will be some gloves for folks, loppers, t-shirts. City communication is going out with some emails and social media on this event. I posted on the listserv as well. There's a registration link so that Good Neighbor Day can have a good count of who to expect, so we can have the right number of shirts and equipment for everyone. It's a pretty difficult terrain, this forested area. The topography is very steep. But there is some really possibility for turning this into a bright spot on the south side, a little wooded area people can visit, similar to the forest walk that's in the sort of central park of Mount Rainier next to the food forest. So that's our goal. There's a little spring running through there. So the goal is to clear the area of as much invasive vines as possible. There's a few tires we hope to pull out of the area, and then plant some native species that MNCPPC will be giving us. So it's going to be a lot of work. We could use as many hands as possible. Again, we'll be there from 8:30 to about noon. Folks can come for as long as they can. The folks who own the property, they're going to provide some warming stations there for people to stay warm if it's cold in the morning. And we'll have beverages and some snacks there for folks as well, but you're always encouraged to bring your own water bottle. So hope to see folks there. The green team will be providing a lot of support for this as well. So hope you can make it.
Thank you so much. Valerie, do you want me to go or do you want to go?
If you could go, that would be great.
All right, perfect. First, I want to say thank you for everybody that joined us this weekend. We had a collection of great events. The police department put together a trunk or treat at the Nature Center. It was a full house. So many kids came that they ran out of candy and they went to get more candy and provided candy to every child that needed one. There was music, there was movies, there was a haunted house, and a lot of great time. We saw a lot of community members come out and kids of all ages. So that was really exciting. Also, Arte para Todos had an event regarding Dia de los Muertos from 2 to 5 in Joe's, which included DC Castilleros. They had, various of us had the opportunity to learn multiple dances and spend quite a bit of time, including doing artwork on Saturdays. So that was a great event as well. Also, the annual Halloween parade happened on Saturday, well, in front of Joe. So the ones of us that did both, literally we walked out to the sidewalk and we were to the other event. We had lots of people coming through. Thank you to the 100 team for making it happen. Food, candies, activities, artwork. And, upon talking to Brooke, we were talking about like the art component work needs to be happening every year because the kids gravitated to the art for fall. And also in order to enjoy, and they did a beautiful walk. A big thank you also to Thomas Stone Elementary PTO for being always so gracious to provide art and a lot of fun and entertainment for the kids. So it was very special to have them. We also had Starbucks who also came out and gave away cold and warm drinks. So thank you for them. The Chick-fil-A cow was also there. So it was good, overall. And then on Sunday, there was another Dia de los Muertos event hosted by Outdoor Latinos, as well as the Food Forest volunteers. And we had people coming in. It was a very diverse group, plenty of people doing, there was music, there was art, there was culture, history, but very much important community building. So we were very happy to be able to pair up, and a good number of people turned out. So plenty of community events to get through and make sure we were respectful of the many traditions that are happening. And Melissa, can you put it all the way to the bottom of the agenda, please? And I will tell you right now the things that are coming up as well. So on November 11 at 9 a.m., we will be having the Veterans Day flag raising and brunch. All of their veterans and their families are invited. Please RSVP. With City Hall, you could just call them and they'll add your name to the list. Veterans Day is November 11. The city offices will be closed. Luke already read the Green Team event on November 12th, starting at 8:30 p.m. The Thanksgiving basket distribution will be November 18 from 12 to 6 p.m. If you'd like to volunteer, we're asking for volunteers to come out Wednesday, Thursday to help us put the items together. Tuesday is tentative. We'll be sending the times out for volunteers. And if you could come and volunteer as early as 7 a.m. on Thursday, on Friday, the 18th, we definitely appreciate it. It's a full day of event. We did decide to move the hours. You could pick up your basket starting at 6. We are working in coordination with Thomas Mount Rainier Elementary, and also this year Cesar Chavez, as well as the two Rainier Manor 2 buildings, 1 and 2. So if you know anybody that needs it, the link is already live, but you can also call City Hall or call me and we'll be able to sign you up. Thanksgiving is November 24. The city offices will be closed. November 25th will be Employee Appreciation Day. The office will be closed that day. Breakfast with Santa will be held December 10 at 10 a.m. to 12 at the Nature Center. It's breakfast with Santa, toys, and photos. Family outreach event by the Rec Committee is December 10 from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Nature Center. If you are interested in being a family that would like to help another family, please reach out to the Rec Committee. They're still taking a couple more families that are willing to share the bed more that they have with those that might need a little more. Okay, holiday basket distribution, that'll be Friday, December the 16th from 12 to 6 p.m. at the police department. We are also once again looking for volunteers the Wednesday and Thursday before, and starting at 7 a.m. to be able to put the stuff together so we could load the cars to take them to the various destinations, including the 2 schools in the senior center. And the Christmas holiday day, December 26th, the city offices will be closed. All right, so that is very extensive list of items that are coming up, and we definitely look forward to having you guys participate, volunteer, but also outreach if you need any help. The other thing, on December 12th, the 47th district will be hosting their food giveaway at North Brentwood Community Center. And let me tell you guys the times, because I literally just posted that. And that is Senator Malcolm Agustin, Delegate Diane Fennell, and Delegate Ivy. That'll be Saturday, November 12th from 11 to 2 p.m. So that'll be at the North Brentwood Community Center, so it's nearby. So the City of Mount Rainier will also be sharing that event. Last but not least, Gabe and Leslie, 2 of our neighbors, are putting together an opening reception for photos for the ash forest that they have taken. The open reception this November 6th at Joe's Movement Emporium. So I will ask for you guys to also go support them. The details are Sunday, November 6th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Joe Movement Emporium. And this is the Ash Forest Project, a photo exhibition, and is being hosted by 2 of our residents in collaboration with Joe's Movement Emporium. All right, and that as well as we'll be posting information about the Mount Rainier PTO fundraisers that are coming out. So that was the community you're welcome to join. One of them is going to be at Franklin. The other one's going to be at Chipotle. And if you let them know you're there for the Mount Rainier PTO, the Mount Rainier PTO will be able to get some profit out of whatever you purchase that day, but you need to let them know that you're there to support them, okay? And once we get information from Thomas Stones, if they're doing their fundraiser, we'll make sure to also share it through the city website, so that way community members could go out and help them. The PTOs are doing a great job at raising funds in order to help our youth. And as a member of this community, you're welcome to join. You don't have to be a parent on either of the schools. All right. So those are my and the city event announcements. So stay tuned. And if you have not signed up to the City of Mount Rainier notifications, please do so. Pink is doing a beautiful job of sending information out to make sure you are in the know what's going on in the city and stay informed so you can also participate. Okay, so thank you guys also for all the work you guys have been doing. It's been a lot of great, excellent work. All right, Valerie, I think I bought you some time.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I had
No
another event.
worries. The floor is yours.
I think you've touched on all of the events that I know about. The Recreation Committee event is on December 10th, the Holiday Family Outreach. So that's the only other, I think you had talked about that one. So I think we're good. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, I rather, even if both of us cover, as long as it gets covered, you know. Thank you so much, Valerie. All right, perfect. So moving on to item number, this one says Mayor and Councilmember announcements. City Manager, do you have any announcements on your end? Kamali?
I'm sorry, Mayor, because I was mute. No, I appreciate it. You did all, and you mentioned all the events, and I appreciate that.
All right, thank you so much. All right, moving on to public comment. Public comment is open to the public. We do ask if there's an item that is in the agenda, if you could wait to make your public comment during the agenda item, it's more appreciated. If it's something that you would not be here for the agenda item or something that is not on the agenda, please make your public comment. You have 3 minutes to speak uninterrupted. If you are representing a group, you need to be authorized to be able to speak on behalf of the group, and every other member in that group sees their time to you, and you have 5 minutes to speak. All right, so at this time, if you have any member of the community that wishes to speak in public comment, can you please put your name on the chat? So I'll call you, and once your name is called, please state your name and last name, block number, and I guess we call it street number, right? So if you live on 3701 of 51st Street, right? You'll just have to say 3700 51st Street, okay? So let me know if you'd like to, if anybody that's here from the community would like to speak. Is Jerry here tonight with us, or is it Pink? Jerry thank you, Jerry with a D. All right, nothing on Facebook? Okay, so at this point, we have no public comments. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next item. Item number 5. Can you move it up just a little bit higher, Melissa? Thank you. Presentation and discussion on building application 4105 30th Street. Mayor and Council will discuss the building application from 4105 30th Street in Mount Rainier, Maryland. So Alma, I'm assuming you're here, right? Alma, the floor is yours, Director of Code.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and residents. We are here to do a small presentation on property 4105 30th Street. And we have Mr. Andre Williams here to actually give us that small presentation.
Thank you so much, and Alma. Mr. Williams, the floor is yours.
How you doing, Council?
Doing fine, thank you.
Our plan is to renovate 4105 30th Street. We want to change the outside. You have the steps on the side, going into the side of the house. We want to move that to the middle of the house, like the other houses basically on the block. And we're gonna renovate all 3 floors. We're gonna renovate the basement, first floor and the second level. We're gonna put a new HVAC system because it's the old radiator system that's in there. Upgrade the electric and the plumbing to the house. I think that's about it. Anybody have any questions for me? That's the general idea of the project.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. William. We're gonna start with Ward 2, council members, Valerie, followed by Jared.
Thank you for presenting. Question for you, because this is the property with the retaining wall in the front?
Yes.
And I think there's a drain pipe that comes out of the retaining wall. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any plan to address that drain pipe in this renovation plan?
Yeah, we was the plumber gonna run it. Where you guys suggest we run it to?
Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I know that right now the water it comes out of the drain pipe in the retaining wall and then ends up on the sidewalk, and then that becomes a slip hazard in the winter. And so I just was wondering if there's any plan to, either, bury it or put it so it goes to the street. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I saw this property and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I think the general renovations are okay, but I'd love to see some kind of, addressing of that issue as well.
Yes, we can address that. We can make sure that that it's not draining to the sidewalk.
Okay. I think those were my only concern. So thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Jared?
Yeah, I just, Valerie brought up a good point, and I just, wanted to flag that as well. When we have water discharge from a retaining wall across the sidewalk, sometimes in other times of year it may be okay, but it creates a very hazardous and icy situation during the winter as well. So, and I think, all in all, I don't think I had any major questions besides that. And Luke and others will flag this as well, and I know Alma will for you as well. But we have a number of city codes regarding when you can start work, noise, making sure that construction, dirt debris doesn't get swept out in the street. And I would just ask you to be mindful of with our city's regulations. Requirements, just be mindful of neighbors and working during the appropriate times and of the impacts that any project would have. And thank you for coming here to the city, and thank you for doing work coming before council to talk about the work you're doing and improving a property in town. So we very do much appreciate that. That's all for me.
My understanding, the work hours is from 7 to 7, right?
No, I think they're 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Alma.
No.
8.
Yes,
Alma, what
yes,
is it?
it was in the checklist that we provided. So definitely it's from 8 to 8.
Okay. Okay. We have the checklist here. We were just double checking. We won't start before 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and be aware that they will call us and we'll become very unhappy to hear a call at 7 a.m. Of construction being done.
We
they will
definitely
put a stop order for you to start until 8. So Luke, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you for, like Jared said, just improving the homes here and complying with everything that we have as far as regulations are concerned. If there's any like dirt that's going to be removed or moved around, just make sure it's far enough that it's from the sidewalk, that it's not going to be hazard in the rain. But a lot of times what will happen is folks will there'll be a big rain and clay will move off onto the sidewalk, to just be mindful of that. Make sure that, we have ordinances when it comes to trees. No big trees are cut down anywhere. There's a process if you do need to cut down big trees, a permitting process for that, for trees over a certain circumference. Try to be mindful of the roots of the big trees so you're not cutting into them as well. Yes, a lot of contractors will put orange fencing around a big tree to make sure that machinery is not sort of lying on the roots of those trees. So just be mindful of that. And other than that, I think everybody else hit the issues I would otherwise touch on. Thank you.
I have one.
Yeah.
We intend to order a dumpster. Where's the proper location for the dumpster on the street?
Alma, that'd be a question for you.
So the proper location, it's either, if you have a driveway, if there's no driveway, it's definitely, it's only allowed to be 4 weeks in front of the property.
Okay, that'll be the street, not the sidewalk, right?
No, not the sidewalk. You don't want to do that.
Okay, just making sure.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Alma, for that answer and the other one. Okay, Jimmy?
Again, thank you for coming. This is to Alma. I mean, we're not making any decisions on this, and some of the design review board is no variance. This is just like him introducing himself. Nothing we have to decide on this. Is that correct?
No, this is something that the county already approved, so we're just presenting it to you.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for investing in our city.
Yeah, we usually ask them to present, so one, the neighbors are aware of what's going on, and two, so that way we could publicly say the things that we say, so that way they know about the noise ordinance, the tree protection, even things like, all of you guys mentioned, right? So that way we also highlight those great things that we would love for them to do in order to make sure that it goes smooth for the neighbors. But Mr. Willen, thank you so much for coming. The council went ahead and covered everything I have. And yeah, be aware that we love our trees very much. And we have spent a lot of money on various sidewalks in the city. So we want to make sure the sidewalks are walkable and people could commute on them. So the less, that's the reason why the trash cans go on the street and not on the sidewalk, to make sure we also have pedestrians to be able to walk safely. And our trees, we love them dearly, and we're very the neighbors are very outspoken about people working before 8 o'clock in the morning and staying too late as well. Okay, but thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing the final product for the home. And any questions, concerns, you have Alma's information, our Director of Public of Code. So therefore, she should be able to guide you through the process as well. And thank you, Alma, for also being here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, moving on to item number 6, presentation discussion of Mount Rainier joining a select core of cities to pilot an awareness campaign to drive adoption of the Affordable Connectivity Program, ACP. It's a 20-minute presentation. This in partnership with the Maryland Office of Statewide Broadband and the national nonprofit organization Education Superhighway will make a presentation to Mayor and Council on Mount Rainier joining a selected core of cities to pilot an awareness campaign to drive adoption of Affordable Connectivity Program, ACP, a fair benefit, the benefits of $45 a month internet discount for eligible residents. And we have here, Alan, you're here, correct?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Ellen.
Thank you so much.
The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Sorry for already too many long words in that that intro. We'll try to make it as easy as possible. But yeah, I did want to share. Is it all right, Mayor, if I share my screen to present some visuals?
Yeah, Melissa, can you give her sharing power, or Jerry will share if you guys are controlling the screen?
Oh, great. I think I'm all good. Thank you so much. Just wanted to start off by saying thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council members, for allowing us in to make this presentation. We really appreciate it. I brought my colleague, Carmen Tia Greer. I want to just let her kind of do introduction, tell you a little bit about our organization, why we've come to you, and then we will answer any questions that you have, of course. Carmentia, please take the floor.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Just to share a little bit about Education Superhighway, we are a national nonprofit that really has been rich and has a rich history of working with state departments of education and K-12 districts in our previous work of helping to connect about 99% of school buildings in the US to high-speed broadband through the federal E-rate program. Having completed this mission, we've continued our work and are now focusing on the digital divide for the 18 million households that have access to internet but cannot afford to connect. Within that demographic, we're really focusing on America's most unconnected communities, where we can empower trusted local messengers such as yourselves to spread awareness and help facilitate enrollment of ACP. One of the main goals of our toolkit is really to provide resources, materials, and guides to make a real impact in your digital work with a lighter lift on your end. And just to reiterate, we are a national nonprofit, and our toolkits and the work that we provide to you are at no cost. So we believe in the importance of investing in broadband access. One of the 4 reasons that that's really important is around workforce employment, education, civic engagement, and healthcare. So with workforce, 1 in 3 American workers aged 16 to 64 currently lack foundational digital skills. Education, we are highlighting that they continued out of school time programs and learning such as assignments and recorded lectures require internet access and devices. And with civic engagement, access to high-speed internet is increasingly correlated with civic engagement. And that last piece, healthcare, is that 70% of doctors and nurses believe that telehealth will dominate patient care in the near future. And as some of you may know already, it has become more popular, a more popular way of practicing healthcare, and we're seeing that every day now. So what is ACP? ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program, is a federal government program that's recognized the need to address the affordability gap through a sustainable long-term $14.2 billion program. One way to think of this is infrastructure versus hardware. A household can receive up to $30 a month for infrastructure. That's the broadband connection. Specifically in the state of Maryland, there's an extra $15 through EBB. And so that means that's a $45 discount, excuse me, for the household. And a one-time discount of $100 for hardware to get for that connected device. So Education Superhighway is excited about this federal funding opportunity for many reasons. One is that the eligibility is more expansive. The key points are outlined here. Their total income should be at or below 200% of the federal poverty level, or at least one member of that household meets any of the criteria listed below. Examples of that are they participate in assistance programs such as SNAP, Medicaid, federal public housing assistance, WIC, or Lifeline. And also they have a greater choice in which internet service provider a household can select. So definitely an expansion on that eligibility requirements. I know we're short on time. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Ellen, and she'll share some more information with you.
Thank you.
Great. I'm just going to share a bit of data quickly on the ACP in Mount Rainier right now. So currently, we estimate that over a third of the households here in the city qualify for the program, but only 14% of those have signed up. And mostly it's because they just don't know about it yet. This is a new program, just started January 1st of this year. So what we're hoping to do is to make sure that as many of your households as possible can take full advantage of this $45 a month internet discount, because we think, as Carmentia mentioned, that it could make a really big impact on their careers and on their lives. So that's why we're here. The State of Maryland Broadband Office has chosen Mount Rainier to be one of 5 cities across the state to take the lead on driving adoption of this federal program. To do that, we want to launch awareness campaigns in partnership with Education Superhighway, ourselves acting as the project manager, as the guide who can help you through the process step by step. We will provide you with as much of the materials and the insight into how other cities are doing these campaigns from our experience working across the country with other cities and communities. And of course, we do want to make this as easy as possible for you. We know that you balance a lot of priorities every day, and I've already heard that just tonight in the discussion so far. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what we're bringing to the table to make this all a bit easier. So first, the idea is that we would work with a city staff member to customize materials that will work best and meet the needs of your residents. So what you see here are a couple of those materials. We have a lot more than what's on this slide, but these are just sort of the templates. So we would like to add city branding to each of these materials because we want ultimately whatever gets into the hands of a resident to look like a trusted communication. We would provide a social media toolkit with sample posts and images, other materials, handouts, and digital content. So all of these things would be accessible. We have a lot of marketing resources on our end who can support with adding in whatever customizations you would like. Another thing we will provide is a tool. So I want to highlight one of them here. This is a tool called getacp.org that can be used directly with your residents. And what you see here are screenshots of the tool. It's a mobile-friendly website, and it helps folks figure out whether they qualify for the ACP, what they need to have when they get to their application. And it also gives them a list of the home internet plans in their area that are free with that $45 a month discount. So the user answers just a few simple questions. The tool really guides them step by step, and the whole thing takes less than 3 minutes on average. The end result is a personalized checklist that explains exactly what that person needs to have when they get to their application. It gives them that nice customized checklist of what are the free internet plans available where they live, and it's available in multiple languages. So we have a live chat that is staffed Monday to Friday that connects in here with English and Spanish speaking enrollment specialists who can answer any live questions. We hear all the time that like the biggest barrier for folks is just they get to the application process and they're like, I have so many questions about where to start. And so we've seen that this tool can be really effective as something to drive people to visit on their own. It's also a great tool to just facilitate a conversation about this benefit. We've seen it used, for example, between like a school staff member and a parent, or a community organization and a resident. Basically all to say this tool empowers anyone doing outreach to get someone ready to apply for this program, answer their questions, and then let them go for it. So to close out, I just want to share the steps involved in the campaign itself. First, we would love to work with a city staff member who can coordinate this work and work alongside us during the course of the campaign. The timeframe we estimate is about 12 weeks from planning all the way through the launch. We would like to meet with that city staff member, ideally weekly, for 1 hour to keep the work moving forward. We can also offer them more support if needed or if their time allows. The first step really would be to work with that person to convene the right city stakeholders who can act as trusted messengers to promote this program to the community. So that person should work with us to identify any active local community organizations. I think, Jimmy, you mentioned potentially the faith community when we spoke about this earlier, libraries, potentially schools, to join us for a conversation to learn about this program and the goals of this campaign and what the city is intending to do. Step 2 would be to prepare a communications plan. So we would provide the framework for that, and again, customize all of the communications resources, but would love local input to make that more effective, and layer in your existing city channels if you've got things like newsletters or any other ways that you currently communicate to your residents. Step 3 is to promote. So again, getting that social media going, asking the community champions that we convened in step 1 to start promoting the program through their channels, and then issuing a press release to get some media coverage to amplify the message and try to reach more people, get more eyeballs on this program. And then step 4, the last piece here, is to activate local resources who can hopefully fit ACP into what they already do when they're supporting community members. So to do that, we will offer training to tell those folks about this program, how they can support others with applying, and give them access to the customized materials that we created with you. So for example, if we learn about an organization that's already hosting a resource fair in the community, they could include a flyer that helps people get signed on for this program during those opportunities. So those are the steps. Again, this is just a high-level overview. We do hope you'll join us in kind of leading the way for other Maryland cities by connecting households to this program and making sure that as many residents of Mount Rainier as possible are aware of the benefit, have resources to sign on for it, and are getting that $45 a month discount on their home internet bills. And ideally getting connected if they're not already paying for an internet service at home. So I will close out there, and I would love to welcome any questions.
Thank you so much, Carmen, Ellen. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to council first, and then if there's a community member that has a question, they're welcome to also ask it. I'm going to start with you, Jimmy, since you were there at the presentation, followed by Luke, Valerie, and Jared. Go ahead.
No, it's a great program, and hopefully, I mean, Selena has done a lot of great work in terms of reaching out to the community in the apartment complexes, and hopefully Mr. Kamali can assign somebody to work with her, and also hopefully the mayor will stay involved to actually try and implement this. It's really good because all these programs that the government has, and the problem always is that people don't know about them. So the possibility of our community actually getting to take the advantage of these programs is great. And it'd be great if we can get more internet in, because especially with COVID and all the stuff that internet resources are not just a luxury, they're a necessity for education and in our community. So thank you for coming. And this, I think, came as a result, Mayor, if I'm not right, of at the MML conference, of our kind of cornering the I forget who it was, to get us on the kind of priority list.
100%. We definitely do our job when we're at the conference and let them know what our priorities are and what Mount Rainier needs. Thank you, Jimmy, for that. Luke?
And my question was going to be how we got selected, and so I'm glad Jimmy brought that up, because it rings a bell now. And so for the folks in the community, if you're listening, us going to that Maryland Municipal League event in the summer, where we have a chance to get one-on-one attention with heads of state governments, is really helpful and gets results for the city like this. So thank you, Ellen and Carmen, for spending the time with us this evening. I'm supportive of this. This sounds great. The questions I have are more from a management perspective, which is capacity. Mr. Kamali, I know staff is stretched thin, and so figuring out how we're going to help. Mayor, I know you're stretched thin, but I also know you have the best connections into our schools and apartments, like Jimmy said. If others have time to help out, maybe some of us who are retired and might be able to help out on city council. Jimmy.
I'm going to intervene 1 second. Ellen and people actually said that they have actually more time than so they have more time to help out. They didn't want to step on our toes.
Oh yeah, I think, well, I'll let Mr. Kamali handle that, but I think we could take all the help we can get. We're a small staff here, so the more we can do, the better. I'm sure Selena can get you in touch with the people who can help spread the message, and we can all help with that. But yeah, so I think that don't be afraid to come in and add capacity to the city, because it's needed, and I think that's always a problem we run into. So anyone who can help address that risk for us is really helpful and welcome. So that's it from my end. Thanks.
All right, Jared, then Valerie. Oh, sorry, Valerie, then Jared. My apologies.
Oh,
Valerie.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for presenting. I also had that question of who selected us, how did this come about, and things like that. So thank you for clarifying that, Luke and Jimmy. Question for you, I guess I have three. One is, which other cities are piloting this in the state of Maryland, and what the cost is? I assume it's coming to us as an in-kind donation or things like that, but just, or if we're paying for it, what that looks like. So.
Yes, great question. So the other cities, okay, you're gonna get me on my memory here. So Baltimore, Cumberland, Laurel, Mount Rainier, and then Bladensburg. Yes. I always say that one wrong. Bladensburg. So those 5. And as far as the cost, I mean, there's no cost. Our project management and consulting services are all free. All the resources we provide are free. Obviously, the cost is all on the time that it takes to partner with us. We lack the local context on who we need to talk to, on all of that resources, all the resources that we want to get involved. And so it would just be a time commitment with us mostly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Jared?
Yep. Well, I think everyone else pretty much covered most of my questions about when we were selected, and any cost to the city. So thank you for clearing that up right now, and also providing some background on other selected cities. Just to, certainly share Luke's thought earlier about just making sure we have staff resources. So it sounds like you all are, looking for opportunities to be able to connect locally, and our staff and community may be able to provide, provide those connections. But as a small city, all the help you can provide, especially for a short-term project like this, and helping lift is very much appreciated. Thank you. And thank you again for all this work, and for bringing this resource to our city. It's really important.
Thank you so much. So, I'm very supportive, and in my head since the conversation that we had, even when we met at MML with the secretariat and their team, even the follow-up calls and emails and meetings, right? I'm very much on board, and I know it seems like my time is very spread thin, but I think things like that are very important for the community. If we could get them connected, you just imagine like our notifications getting to them without having the sensitization that we need to. So to me, it's like it all comes with the territory. So definitely will be like on board with this project, helping as much as I can, and collaborating with you and uniting the stakeholders information. As for costs on our end, I know we had discussed about internet, and what we had discussed in the past with ARPA, we might have to put a little money aside if we want to do yard signs and mailers or stuff like that. So it's something that we might have to put some funding behind in order to help with the outreach. But other than that, that's the only cause that I see going. With the newsletter, we send the newsletter out anyways to have flyers for our events. We have that anyways, right? But definitely, like, I see a very big benefit, especially with us having 2/3 of our residents in apartments. It's very well needed. As an example, the other parent in this call will definitely identify with this, Valerie. We are going to be having a half day, and it's not the first, it's the first one of various half day connected to the internet. So be like virtual class for the schools, half a day until like right above noon, and then the rest of the time free, right? But that means those parents that don't have be able to connect to the internet, it's not as easy for those that want to. So the virtual world, including education, jobs, and everything, it's here. and it's desperately needed. And those bills for internet are really ridiculous. And the last thing we need is for the kids to miss a day of school, mainly because they don't have access, or they need the extra help, or they have a very unreliable internet source where their parents might have to be doing something, and they have to also be connected. So I think that for us, the next step, what the next step forwards are in order to start working on structuring what this looks like, and you know, start moving and promoting. Like I mentioned to you, we have a lot of city events coming up where this information could start being put up front. And, you know, and the customization of the documents. I know in the past, our communications team, when they've been able to provide something to them, they do have high quality of our logos to be able to add to the documents and put them out. They're putting out information very consistently on a daily basis of the various events that we're doing. So with the various events that we're having at least, as you heard very well, at least 5 or 6 events coming out before the end of the year. So it'd be important to start like at least the outreach to put this in front of people and start working with the schools and the other stakeholders to provide a little bit more information and outreach. Okay. So I'll continue communicating with you guys, and I see the time is up. Do we have any member of the community that would like to speak? And we'll go ahead and add a couple of minutes. Jared, do we have anybody on Facebook? And on the chat, does anybody wants to make a comment? Please let us know. We'll extend the time. Okay. Hearing that there's no other question. Ellen and Carmen, thank you so much for coming. We'll go ahead and follow up to figure out what the next steps are and how we could work together as well. Then in our end, figure out what the plan is. Okay. And we are very happy to be part of that small selected group as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. Okay, moving on to item number 7, presentation of minutes. The city clerk will present the minutes for October 18, 2022, work session minutes to mayor and council. Your minutes for the work session were in your package. Melissa, anything else to add except for that? They're there. Send her any changes so that we could approve them in the next legislative session that will be in December. Did I cover that, Melissa?
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
All right, perfect. So moving on to the next item. Old business, item number 8, ARPA discussion and vote number 23rd. The mayor and council will have discussion and vote on potential vote on the city manager's recommendation proposal contract for Paulson's Welcome Center, extension ARPA consultant contract, Thomas Michael LLC, and bike co-op windows and rear shelter replacement of $16,000. This for the bike co-op. I will be, Luke or Melissa, do you have the document that you could pull up? I think Luke sent it out to you, the latest version.
Yeah, I can probably pull it up quicker unless, Melissa, you have it on hand.
Is it in the package, Melissa?
Yes, it's in the package, but
okay.
Councilmember Luke could pull it out because just in case you guys want to make any changes. So.
Go ahead.
Whatever.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
And while Luke is putting it up, we are doing our best to make sure items are discussed in the work session and also in a legislation meeting, and then go ahead and vote. But this is like what you see in front of you is a document that's been put together in the last 23 plus meetings discussing ARPA. And by the legend, you can tell green means consensus to move forward towards approval. Orange means need to hear back from consultant whether it's able to enable spend, and blue consensus reached but vote in legislative session needed. So anything that's green has been discussed in a public session, in a work session, but also has been voted on, and it's quite a few of us already like in process in various stages. All right, Luke, I'm gonna cede the floor to you. Go ahead.
Sure, Mayor, would you like me to just go to the blue ones that need voting?
Yeah, go ahead and do that. And then if we have to add or add anything else, we can always do that as well. I'll leave room for that. And this was in the legislative package. You could find it at the MRTV.org website under the calendar, but also under the meeting section. Go ahead, Luke.
Okay, the first one that we had consensus on at the work session was the bike co-op window replacement and rear shelter replacement for $16,000. This is an allowable expense under a typical government service expense for us. So that's why it's in the government service bucket. And that was one of the expenses that we were going to vote on tonight.
So Luke, I'm gonna call the vote for each of them as we go, so
Okay.
we could clear the deck. It's a reminder for this, the campers union and the city of Mount Rainier collaborate together to be able to make the changes for the bike co-op. Thank you for the volunteers for the bike co-op as well. There were a couple of things that we did needed to obtain. That was the windows and the rear shelter replacement. They should be able to complete the project to have the bike co-op working in full capacity as it is, but also having the windows and the shelter in the back. So council, can I have a motion to approve up to $16,000 for the bike co-op window replacement, rear shelter replacement?
So moved. Second.
Okay.
It's been properly moved and second. Well, technically, if I moved it, you guys seconded, but it's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Any objections? Any abstentions? Hearing there is none, this item has passed unanimously. And Luke will go ahead and update to put the date on when this was passed unanimously. So we're keeping very good records as he goes through the one of the advice that was given, not just through MML, but that we have followed is we are keeping clean records. So that way it's not just transparent, but also if the government decides one day to change their mind and they want to see extra documentation, we have the extra documents that may need to show what our work was when it was approved and everything else that goes along. That's the reason why it's very important that we keep track of everything, although the reporting has changed because we fall under a very specific amount of money that was received. All right, Luke, anything else? Council, anything else you guys need to, anything on this? All right, no, go ahead and move to the next one.
I think that was it. Did I miss one?
Didn't we have to vote on the extension, or is that another issue?
That would, the program manager.
Yeah.
Or the ARPA consultant.
There was three on the
Yes.
agenda. You look up
Right
the-
there.
Consult.
So just as a point of information, we have an ARPA consultant. And the contract was for a year. We are gonna be voting tonight on extending the contract for another year. Okay, and as we said, we're trying to be transparent with everything we vote on. So therefore, we brought it up here for us to vote openly. Mr. Kamali, can you please tell us the name of the consultant for the record?
Yeah, the name is Thomas Michael, LLC, Thomas Michael.
So that'll be Thomas, if you could write the name as well. And just to clarify, it is a 10K has been totally approved. And Luke, you might have to like update it to see how much is left on the total, how much was used and how much is going to be allocated for next year. Because that was one of the things that was asked of me because they thought it was 10K a year that we're approving.
No,
yeah,
Mayor.
so 100%. So I need to make sure we make a note of that so that way people know that it's not, that's the overall amount we have approved for the various year. But every year, Mr. Kamali will come forward to let us know right before October next time to let us know so that way we could vote on the renewal. Mr. Kamali, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure it's $30,000 per year. I just want to,
Okay.
because I heard something $10,000.
No, it's 100,000. That's what it shows right now. So they thought it was per year, not like
3 years, for 3 years.
Okay, so it's 30 per year. All right. So council, do you guys? I'm gonna call the question, and on the discussion, you guys will ask any question you guys want. Okay. So can I have a motion to?
There's quite one question, Mayor.
Can
Why
go
don't we
ahead,
make it 90,000?
We left it 10K just because it's only for 3 years. However, if we have projects that extend beyond 3 years, as ARPA allows to, we might have to put more money to be able to complete those projects.
That's fine. Withdraw my question. No, withdraw. That's fine. Thank you for the answer.
We could put 90 if you want.
No, just that's fine.
This is up to, not a total.
Right, okay.
Okay. So just in case, because we have a couple projects that will go over the 3 years for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And as it gets closer to the third year, Jimmy, we could definitely review it and bring it down to 90 if that works. If nothing else needs to be done, then we're done.
Okay.
And then we have $10,000 to spend.
We can look at it next year.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. All right. So I would like to go ahead.
I move it. Didn't you ask for a motion? Or did I miss it?
You could do the motion if you want. Go ahead.
So move the motion that we appropriate 100. We can appropriate the other $70,000 for the total.
So I would say, can I edit that motion to
Sure.
read this like we're approving up to $30,000 for renewal of the contract for Thomas and Michael LLC for 1 year.
Sounds good.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Valerie. There's been a second. Any discussion? Councilmembers, do you have any discussion on this vote? Kamali, I see your hand up. Was that from the previous one or is this from the current?
No, that was from the previous. I'm sorry. I should have lowered my hand. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure I call upon you if you have a question.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, hearing no discussion. Is there any objections? Abstentions? Hearing none, this item has passed unanimously on today. So Mr. Kamali, move forward to go ahead and sign the renewal, okay? And then next year, what is it? September, come back and let us know for the last one for the 3rd year. And thank you to Michael, Thomas Michael LLC for making sure they're working us to keep the documents that we need and help us out through the process.
Okay, thank you.
All right, perfect. Is there anything else in blue?
I do not think so. I don't know if there was anything else listed for a vote.
Can
you look at the agenda? I think it was in the agenda.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing.
So Luke, wait, before you move there, Luke, you're gonna be updating the totals in the bottom, right? If there's any changes?
Yep.
Thank you so much, and submit it to the city clerk.
Yep.
So I will know specifically how much we have on hand as we move forward. All right, thank you. All right, go ahead. Can you put the agenda back up? Thank you so much. So what looks in the agenda is the recommendation for Pulse Hall / Welcome Center. So this was not in the so I don't know, Council, I need to hear from you because we could always review if you have any questions. And it's not formally presented as a recommendation. We could always, for a work session, put a legislation meeting in front just to be able to vote on this. So that way we have publicly present what the recommendation is, if any. But I'm gonna open up the floor to you guys. Go ahead, Luke.
I would just say I saw that Mr. Kamali sent us that the price remains good for 60 days. And Mr. Kamali, when would that 60 days end? When would that be over? That December?
Yeah, December, end of December, because they said it's good from October 31st, 60 days after.
Okay, so my recommendation to the group would be to raise this as a discussion at the work session at the end of the month in November, and then have it for vote on the legislative session in December, unless people are ready to make moves here. But I don't know if that's the case.
I'm not. I like your suggestions.
Yep.
So Jimmy, you'll be next, and then I'm gonna go to Ward 2.
Well, I'm ready when we are, but I just want to kind of not emphasize, point out that Mr. Kamali was able to get them to divide it into 2 parts. So because we only actually have the money in hand from ARPA and and I don't know what the other, I think 3 million in hand. And so we can't really sign a contract, or we can, but we shouldn't sign a contract if the other money is not actually guaranteed. So the fact that we can do it in 2 parts, I think is very important, because once we get to one part, if something happens, we're not committed to spending money that we haven't agreed to. So I just want to kind of thank Mr. Kamali for getting the contractor to agree to make this in 2 parts, because I think that makes the decision so much easier. It would have been hard to agree to a contract that has more money than we've actually nailed down. That's all. But we can move it to the work session. That's fine.
Jared, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you mean me, Selena?
That's you, Jared, double T.
Yep, sorry. Thought you were talking to the other Jared. Yeah, no, I just want to echo Jimmy's thoughts on that. I did want to kind of understand, if we do this 2-phased approach, what that looks like from a how much funding wise in phase 1, how much funding wise in phase 2. If we don't have the funds available for phase 2 at the moment, how do we sort of guarantee the pricing on the second phase, based on us not being able to execute at the moment? Is it basically a guarantee that we would execute? If we're executing phase 1 and we're just saying we will execute phase 2 later, and we'll be able to hold pricing, and then if that is the case, what does that pricing look like at the time where we execute phase 2? So I really appreciate your work at kind of separating this out into multi-phased approach, that it looks like it's portable between the 2 phases, but would like to find out more information about how that looks in terms of when we execute and what kind of financial impacts. Thank you.
Valerie, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I also agree we need to bring this to a work session. I'd like to hear from the city manager a little bit more about the process of selecting, his recommendation. And then also, like, if we only asked one bidder to break it up into 2 phases, or if we asked everybody, like, if you can't do it in 1 phase, do we ask them all to do it in 2 phases, so that even, because if it's 2 phases and we're only applying the first one, you might go with a company that might do better work. I don't know, but I'd like to hear more about that from the city manager, if possible, before we take a vote and move this forward. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Valerie. So Mr. Kamali, you have heard from the council on the various questions. Council, if you have anything else you guys want to add to the question log, go ahead and email it to all of us. So we don't have to answer, just email us so we're not emailing the same question. So we're moving this to the work session in November. And I think definitely the question of how it got selected, and if the option was given to the others about splitting the process, and what are the guarantees and not, are very important before we decide to walk on this road, because we need to know exactly what we're signing on. Okay. All right. Perfect. Council, anything else to add, or should I just move over? All right. So any member of the community has a question? No member of the community. Anything on Facebook? All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll move on to new business. Discussion and votes on the ARC Commission 2022 I know, very awaited ARC project. Yeah. The ARC Commission will present its recommendations to Mayor and Council for the RS for its 22 ARC banner project in the city downtown core. And we have various members of the ARC Commission with us tonight. I see Ariel, I see Tori. Who else am I missing? Oh, I don't see Michael. Michael, we missed you. All right, so Tori and Ariel, let me know who's presenting, both of you guys, some of you guys. The floor is yours, and we're very happy to hear this. Go ahead.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Tori and of course Mike and Absentia. I'll be presenting tonight. So I'm just going to go ahead and share the screen. And before I go into the deck that has been prepared, I just wanted to talk through a little bit of the history around where the commission is. I also prepared a version of the deck, which I'll start shortly, in Spanish. I unfortunately cannot speak Spanish, but it's there, just if anyone wants to do a little bit of fast forwarding. So in 2020, the Arts Commission led the work that happened for Pennyroyal to have its mural. In 2021, there was also a mural project that was conducted on 34th Street. And with that, in 2022, the Arts Commission that exists now began. This is, a brand new group of folks, and we've learned a lot along the way just in getting this banner project together in particular. Just to provide an overview, the banner project is a project that we're doing in collaboration with the Department of Public Works here in Mount Rainier to utilize 37 city-owned decorative lampposts in the mixed-use town center. You can see those marked in green here to display the work of 15 Mount Rainier-based artists. These banners will be displayed for 2 years. We're focusing on local artists, again, who live or lease and own studio space in Mount Rainier. We really wanted to make sure that we showcased a broad set of visual art mediums and disciplines. And we also wanted to make sure that these were rotational pieces. So again, these are 2-year sets of work that we'll be erecting. The banners, you can read here just a little bit of the outline of what they are. I'm going to be moving a little bit quickly so we can actually get to the meat of what has been selected. But of course, they incorporate our city logo, credit, of course, to the artists, which you see here on the side. Shout outs, I will say, to Tori, who provided the mock-ups that guided us in our work and throughout the RFP process. Those mock-ups you can see again here with some visualization of what they'll look like if one is lucky enough to be 6 feet tall. They're as illustrated here. And so, yeah, we went through an application process. Call for artists was posted from August 19th through September 18th. We worked hand in hand with the city's communications vehicles across social media, using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our e-newsletters, and of course the website. We also made sure to connect directly to local media like the Hyattsville Wire, East City Art, and of course our tremendous local arts entities, Brentwood Arts Exchange, Joe's Movement Emporium, Otis Street Arts Project, Red Dirt, Gateway Media Arts Lab, and et cetera, et cetera. And so through those connections, including personal contacts and et cetera, we were able to spread the word about this project with this set of submission criteria. We wanted to make sure that the banners that were selected were viewable for all age groups. So that meant no slurs, profanity, no nudity, no graphic depictions of violence or harm, no overtly political or party affiliated political content. I've already talked again about how we wanted to make sure that these artists were representatives from the city itself, and applicants were encouraged to submit up to 3 works for consideration, again, from a wide range of mediums. So during the review process, myself and others on the commission, Mike, Rachel, Sharon, and of course, Tori, sat around at one of the commissioners' homes. And before we even, sat and talked through the 59 pieces or artists' works that were presented, we went through these criteria pieces and made sure that we centered ourselves in selecting work that had a relevance to the city. We wanted to make sure that the work was suitable for outdoor display, of course, recognizing, particularly around Rhode Island Avenue. that circle there, that there's a lot of traffic that goes in and out. So visibility was crucial. We also wanted to make sure that the work held a relationship to the city and, this community, recognizing, that we straddle, right, the nation's capital and the state of Maryland, was something that we wanted to, really exemplify through this process. We looked at appropriateness of the scale of the artwork, how closely the artwork met the goals set out in the RFP, some of those submission criteria I did just go through. And to the best of our ability, although we didn't ask about age, race, or gender, we did want to, do some digging where possible, just around where the diversity of perspective was shared in the artwork itself and, through those that submitted. We also wanted to, again, ensure that there was a diversity of medium and style to the best of our ability. So with all of that said, here are the first set of banners that were selected. This is in alphabetical order. Again, if you want to check out some of these pieces on your own screen, the link in the chat provides access to that. This is the second set here. I want to call some attention here to, our work in ceramic, right? Again, we wanted to make sure that there was that diversity of mediums presented. The piece in the middle here, collage work. Here at the far right, acrylic, I believe. It's the third of 4. All right. And forgive me for not naming the artists themselves. You can see them, of course, visually here. I don't want to butcher names, though. So these pieces we're hoping to erect as soon as possible. We do have our financials in place. We have about $13,000, a little over for $13,000 in budget for the project. We'll be working with H&W Printing. Big thanks to Ron for connecting us with that local business for printing. We have been in discussion with the Department of Public Works to install these banners. The cost of hardware is a little over $1,000, and then each artist is getting compensated $600 each. We're hopeful that in future years we can begin increasing budget where possible in order to, again, just ensure that our artists are compensated fairly and that this artwork, continues to be enriched in the community. So I think we can all agree that there's an impact that happens here, right? When we have these banners, again, in this crucial intersection, it really provides some creative placekeeping for this district, for our great city. We also really want to make sure that we're continuing to elevate awareness around the fact that Mount Rainier has such a rich community of visual artists, musicians, that art lives here in the city in a beautiful way. And of course, we want to make sure that we're adding to the beautification of the community in general. So we have contracts that have been lined up and are ready to go. Again, thanks to the city and for helping us get those together. We're working with the artists to get final renderings for printing on the banners. And of course, we'll be spreading awareness to community members. This was our first project as a team. And I will say we learned, again, just so much. And are excited to take everything that we've learned in order to move forward and, do the next project and add more art to Gateway Arts District. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ariel. That was definitely, what we were eagerly waiting, and it did not disappoint. Thank you guys, the whole committee, for putting this together. I'm going to cede the floor first to Luke, since he is the liaison, and then we'll go down the list. Go ahead, Luke.
No, I'm just so proud of you guys, Ariel, Tori, everyone else who couldn't make it. Just really proud of the work you do. This is always like the first commission we have. I was so proud of them and the work they did. And I was like, what are we going to do when we need new people on board? And we got new people on board, and you all have just done such a wonderful job. All those pictures are just beautiful and just like powerful. So like a couple of them, you're going to walk down the neighborhood and it's just going to bring thoughts into people's minds or imagination into kids' minds. And, it's a big part of who we are here in Mount Rainier, and our ability to project that literally into the space that gets, visited most often, which is Rhode Island Avenue, just by the amount of cars that pass by there. Just super huge impact. And thank you so much. I'm so on board with your selections. It's so cool, and love the work you're doing. Thank you so much. That's all I got. I'm all smiles.
You're like, no more, we're cutting you off. All right, we're gonna go with Jared, Valerie, and Jimmy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was grinning away as we saw these two, because I mean, man, what a cool project. I just, each one of those banners is so unique. It's so reflective of our community. It's gonna do some amazing placemaking. So just thank you so much for all the time you spent on this, for kind of, going through a community-driven process, for soldiering through some of the, ups and downs we had with the METC on the way in, for just all the time you spent on this, for volunteering your time, for putting together an amazing asset that's going to make our community look great, and really pop this main corridor in our city. So thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you so much, Valerie, and then Jimmy.
Yeah, I think Luke and Jarrett said it well. Thank you for your work in doing this. I think it's really important, and I like that it's lots of different visuals. I really like that part, because I see a lot of cities with banners, that are all basically the same or just words. And, this is like a real statement of who we are in Mount Rainier. So thank you for doing this. I look forward to seeing it happen.
Jimmy?
Yeah, thanks again. I want to thank Luke. I mean, the key to we have tremendous resources in our city, and we're a small city and small staff, but our ability to get our residents engaged and to kind of use those resources is critical for the city, because we have so many talented residents of the city. If we can add them to our, how the city runs, it really helps. And this is a good example of that work doing. So thank you, committee, and also thank you, Luke, for mentoring this group to get this stuff done.
All right, thank you. So definitely thank you. They were so beautiful. I'm sure you guys had a hard time selecting. We have a lot of talent in Mount Rainier, but also want to make sure to acknowledge the fact that you guys went to outreach, you put the whole entire list together. And that was great, because you went directly to outreach to like the artist hubs in the city, and also out to make sure that we're aware this process was happening, encourage people to apply. And that has helped tremendously, because a lot of the times people feel like they do not know or not aware of, but the fact that you guys went to the key hubs around the city of like club, of artists, but also being able to help and it allowed for more people to be reached and for beautiful work to be put together. And I definitely know quite a few of the artists. And I always mention, people do a lot of beautiful work all over the world. Artists travel through many places, right? And it's also good to have an homage to them here locally, and start showcasing like the great work that's being done with all the public art that now is out in the city, and the more that's coming. It also allows for them to have a bit of the stake here in the city, and for us to admire their work, and for the neighbors to realize that this is the talent that we have in our city, and invite others to come and see it, because it's definitely key, but also support the arts. And that for us is important, because we are an artist community, and we're very proud of that. And we want to make sure we're showcasing the talent that we have locally. Also, thank you so much for working with H&W, our local printers. So it's definitely an effort of local businesses and artists and community members working together. So all around, thank you for that. And it's beautiful to see the combination. And I definitely love the pictures and the variety and the diversity. And I think you guys, the Art Commission found their vibe and their groove, and with this new group as well. And I'm so excited to have you guys and all the great stuff that you guys are going to be doing for the rest of the year, because I'm pretty sure you guys have something else planned out for like next year before the end of the fiscal year and for years to come. So thank you, Luke, as well, for being supportive and making sure that you work through this process and brought this. I highly I have talked about the Arts Commission very like a lot of the things that I do is talk about the great things the city's doing. And you guys make it so easy by being so great and so wonderful, you guys, as well as the other committees. But this is going to definitely showcase the work that you guys have done and also in embracing who we are as the culture. So thank you guys so much for that. All right. Do we have anybody in Facebook or here that would like to make a comment? Let us know. Speak now. All right. I see nothing. Anything online, Jared? All right. So I do have one last question for the Arts Commission. We made it public right now, but are we doing something else to make it public before the banners go up?
Definitely. So Mike has sent out a notice to the artists themselves. So they were made aware that their selections had been selected pending vote by the council tonight. So that's happened, which is great. In terms of next steps, absolutely, we would love to work with the city's communications team to maybe share even a copy of this deck. That would be great, just to get that out even further.
Yeah, because I'm definitely interested to share it tonight if I can. But me, I've been working with you and Tori for a bit as well, right? No, so council, I think we officially have to take a vote, although we're like obviously over eager and happy about the job. But Liz, I'll put a motion on the floor. Luke, I'm gonna see you the seat to make the motion.
Yeah, I move that we approve the recommendations for artwork that the Arts Commission has presented to the Mayor and Council.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
It's properly moved and second. Any discussion, Council? There's no objection, abstentions. This item has very happily been voted unanimously by Mayor and Council. So Arts Commission, you could let them know it's been fully approved, okay? And I look forward to seeing what else you guys are bringing to the table. You guys are outstanding creative people, which I love so much, okay? So thank you guys for everything.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Have a good night.
Okay, have a good night. All right, wow, that was beautiful work. All right, moving on to, thank you, Melissa. Item number 10, first reading of Resolution 04-2022, proposed budget calendar for fiscal year 2024. Budget, Mayor and Council will have the first reading of Resolution 04-2022, proposed budget calendar for fiscal year 2024. As a reminder for everybody else, we did ask for the staff to go back and make some changes because spring break happened to land in one of the dates. The other thing that we asked was that if it was a complete read-through of the budget, that it would not happen on regular meeting, either work session legislative, because we have realized that if that happens, those meetings like very easily reach to 1 o'clock in the morning, and at the time neither are we affected of the staff of the community to be able to have a 5-hour meeting and 2 hours into the budget. So you guys heard the resolution last time. This is the first reading, so nothing's going to be voted upon. Council, you're welcome to, if there's any other changes, to suggest them. So basically it's a resolution for a fiscal year.
We're losing your audio, Selena.
I'm sorry, I'm yelling at this point.
Now you're fine.
Okay, thank you. So it's a resolution setting the proposed budget calendar. This is the first reading. So Council, if there's something you need to suggest or add or have questions, you still have time to do it. And for the members of the community, same thing. So every year we do this. So this is not a new document. All right, whereas the council must adopt the budget, receiving revenues and expenditure for fiscal year 2024, beginning July 1st, 2023, ending June 30, 2024. All right, And you guys could read out all the whereas right there. We read them previously, nothing has changed. And this has to be approved before July 1st in order for us to activate the new budget. All right, so go ahead, keep going. So the NAFRA will be resolved is the same one, following the calendar. Here it is. We have Tuesday, October 18, which already passed. It was a work session for setting the proposed calendar. It was just a discussion. Tuesday, December 6th. Guys, you guys have to edit this to include today for the first reading out of November 1st, okay? So Melissa, can you make a note of that, please?
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, so we'll be adding November 1st as the first reading of the adoption of the calendar. We have Tuesday, December 6th, adopt resolution setting proposed budget calendar for FY 2024 budget. For Friday, December 9, budget instructions issued to those departments and committees and community groups. All that so far, the 9 is more of like an internal process that's being done with the city. Friday, January 27, deadline for city departments, committees, and community groups to submit budget proposals for FY 24 to their city manager. February 24, city manager to pro budget to FY 24 to the council. Melissa, is this a legislative or work session? The 24? Oh, this is
No,
Friday. Thank you so much.
24th is a Friday.
Okay, Tuesday, the 28th, city manager presents a proposed budget to council. City council hosts work session and proposed budget. Okay, is the 28th a legislative or a work session?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm just reading it because I was definitely grilled from the community about this. So Thursday, March 9th, notice published in the Prince George's Post and Sentinel public hearing on proposed FY 2024 budget schedule for March 25th, 2023. Constant year rate will be also posted and published. By law, we have to abide by a time frame. Our team has been very good at making sure they're meeting that deadline and consulting with the state if need be to make sure we meet the correct deadlines. Okay, Saturday, March 25th, we have a public hearing and public comments on proposed budget FY 24, and we have a work session on budget for FY 2024 that usually starts about 9 o'clock. Tuesday, April 11, discussion on FY 24 proposed budget and first reading into the record of the FY 2024 budget ordinance.
That's at the regular meeting, ma'am.
So we might have to, if it's like if it's the first reading into record of the budget, we might have to move that to a different day. Okay.
The only reason.
Hold on. In the past, what we had done is like it's been like in a different Tuesday. And so that way we're able to read through it and just focus on that and nothing else. But go ahead, Melissa, you were saying?
So the only reason we have to put it there is because to take in consideration the spring break and to pass the budget before the elections. So we have 3 consecutive meetings, like 3 weeks. So we have April 11, then the next week is April 18 and April 25th, unless we want 2 meetings in a week. That's the only way we could change that.
Okay, what I'll maybe request to council if we could change and council, you guys could hear this out and we could discuss it after, but we might have to change our legislative session just to focus on the budget if you guys want, because it's definitely, if it's the first reading, we're supposed to rewrite through it. And our budget is very specific in detail, and that might take quite a bit of time. And I don't know if it's unfortunate, but by the end of around March, April, May, June, we are having 3+ hour agendas easily. So we might have to adjust our legislative meeting to make sure we focus just on the budget to meet the deadline, but keep that in mind because I'm not going back to 1 o'clock meetings. Definitely that's not a way to be able to run this, okay? All right, Melissa, go ahead. I did the 18, correct?
Yes, so the 25th is not our regular meeting. That's on
Thank you.
another thing.
Second reading on FY28 budget ordinance and possible vote, and Tuesday, June 6th, if needed, vote on FY24 budget ordinance. Thank you so much. And I see a number 2. Can you like lift it up? It says the budget calendar for the preparation and adoption of the City of Mount Rainier FY budget may be amended, adjusted by mayor and council as necessary. And something does happen. We have split meetings in the past. All right. Council, you have in front of you the first reading of, all the way to the top list, of ordinance 4-2022, which is the resolution to set the calendar for a budget amendment. This is a first reading. So if you guys have any suggestions or any concerns, let us know, because days will have to be adjusted, even if it has to be our meetings around it to be able to meet the deadlines. Okay. Anything, council?
Yeah.
If not, we could just move on to
Mayor?
the next one.
Mayor?
Jimmy, is that you?
Yeah.
ahead.
Just make sure, delete the October date in this. Did you do that? Because we're voting on this in November. So the first line go down below.
Take it
First-
to the calendar, Melissa.
Yeah, so the October date should be deleted. Since we're voting on this in November, we can't refer to an October date, I would think.
Yeah, we also need to add the November to tonight's first reading as well to the calendar. So Melissa, you're gonna have to make those 2 adjustments. Okay.
Just,
I'll work with
just
you.
make that Tuesday, November 1st calendar reading.
Well, I think, Jimmy, I don't think she needs to delete that. Just add in the first reading
November
in
1st.
November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean they presented it, but it's like we made changes, but this will be the official first reading. But November 1st needs to be there, and if we do a second reading also, whenever the second reading is as well. But that's what's missing here, so that we can reflect on the record when this took place. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, could we scroll down
Look
to
ahead.
so I think we talked about this last time, but the election is the first Monday in May, right?
Correct.
And they're sworn in before before that first Tuesday meeting. For some reason I thought that we had a chance that first Tuesday to pass the budget, and they're not sworn in until a day or 2 later, but am I wrong on that?
They're sure about, is it the Tuesday after, Melissa, or the Monday after?
The Monday after.
The
So-
Monday after.
So if they're sworn in the Monday after, we could vote the first Tuesday in May. Just-
I think what happens is like, because we pushed it up or down, Melissa, you have to check the dates. I think it has to be published for a certain time. If not, like we are breaking the order.
Right. Well, here it says, no, stay there. So right now we have the second reading and the possible vote on Tuesday, April 25th. So we added that as like an extra reading, an extra legislative session, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is we could also add in there Tuesday, May, whatever that first legislative session is in May, as a possible second vote.
I think what we're trying to do is like break them apart, so that way we don't have it in the legislative session, because the reality is like from April and on, the agendas get very heavily. They're 3.5 hours to 4 hours without even the budget added to it. So either A, we commit to like reduce the agenda so we could have a good reading, but at this point, having the legislative and budget on the same night, it becomes very hard.
Yeah, I'm just saying if we wanted to have, I think it would be helpful. I think it would be helpful to just have the option of a vote that first Tuesday because it would be before a new council would be sworn in. So it would give us 2 chances at the apple before a new council is sworn in. And I think that might be smart. That's all I'll say.
You want to do April 25th and May? Okay, how
I
about you
would
put
just-
it in writing so that way we could get it better? Because right now,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, it's already 8:40.
Yeah,
So put
I
it
would,
in writing and send it, and we'll figure out how to fit it in and make sure that it legally, everything's set up together. I think I know what you're saying, just in case, you know, the second reading is not ready, we could have a second one already listed instead of
Yeah.
being June 6th. That's what you're trying to say, correct?
well, no, I wouldn't delete June 6th. I would just insert a line for the first Tuesday in May for a possible vote and keep the June 6th as another possible vote so that we have sort of 3 bites at the apple. 2 would be before any new council would be approved. I'll put it in writing.
Yeah, how about that? Thank you so much. That will make life easier to figure out what is specifically, and if it's a work session, because if it's a work session, legislative session that you're asking for one or the other, to be honest, or something else. All right, perfect. Thank you, Luke.
Yep.
So send it to all of us. Council, any other questions regarding this? So you guys are just gonna put it in writing and submit it to the rest of us. Jared, I see your mic open. Anything?
Nope.
Valerie, we're good? And Jimmy, good? I'm thinking yes. All right, so.
I'm fine, thank you.
Perfect. So make your recommendations, move forward on it. Melissa, if there's anything less in a work session, legislative session, can you just mark it down and let us know so that way we could like have this conversation a little bit more smoother? And I appreciate you making the adjustments as you know, and taking notes as we go. Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on from the calendar to the next item. Discussion and appointment to the Police Advisory Board. The Mayor and Council will discuss the potential appointment of 5 members to the Police Advisory Board. So Council, I'm gonna open up the floor to you, and I need to tell you guys something that I'm not 100% clear on. In the past, we have gone to the work session, we have reviewed the information, submitted all the names that were there, and then let the, submit our vote to the clerk and then invite the people to be appointed. I don't think we're doing any appointment tonight. First of all, because we have not talked to any of the members to let them know that we appointed tonight, and they definitely need to be present for appointment, or at least notify them that there'll be an appointment. And they could excuse themselves, but they should definitely be aware they're going to be appointed and what is it they're being asked of, right? Number one. Number two, from our last work session meeting, we've had extra names being added that this is the first time the public will be hearing who they are. How many more names added were they, Melissa? Was it 2 or 3? Thank you, Melissa. So we did get more people added to Ward 1 because we only had 1. Ward 2, we have more people added, and for the departments, only 1. So if you notice there as well, 3 of the people that have requested to be in the Police Advisory Board are in are serving other duties for the city, including the Board of Elections, the Recreation Committee, and the Ethics Committee. The document, the ordinance states that they cannot serve the city in any other capacity. That means no staff, no committees, nothing. So we first need to one, make the discussion on if we're, something that was brought up, if we are going to, and I just sent an email to you guys about this, if we decide to appoint somebody that's in any of those boards, they will have to be voted separately, mainly because at this point they do not qualify, and give them 24 hours to submit a formal resignation to our clerk in order for them to be appointed, because if they don't, even the recommendation of appointment will become null. They by own ordinance, they cannot be appointed. Okay. So if we decide to go that route, that could be done, but we need to be very specific with them to let them know they have 24 hours to resign. And upon their resignation, they could serve the new term. But if they decide not to resign for the positions, it's automatically voided and null. Okay. So 2 questions I have for you guys. One, this is the first time the residents are seeing all the other names that were added to the list. So either A, we decide to review them and submit it to the clerk, right? And they're invited to the December meeting for them to be appointed. Or another option is, tell me what you guys want to do, but be aware that at least, I want to say 3 names. This is the first time the community has seen them. So they didn't have, that's it. Anyways, Jimmy, I'm opening the floor to you. Go ahead.
First of all, I've talked to 2 of the people who applied. I mean, I reached out and both Shawnette Robinson and Tony George are aware they would have to resign from their committees and are willing to do so. So I think the resolution, the appointment, you won't need a separate resolution. I think that the general resolution should say that any people will have to resign from their committees. I don't have a problem bringing it to the work session because, Ward 2 went from, I don't know, 2 people to 4 people, I think. And Ward 1 went from 2 to 3. I would suggest that we maybe close off the people applying. We opened it up because we wanted more people, but now that we have more people, I think, we should kind of close off the timeline so we don't keep on getting more people and, keep on pushing this down the road. So I don't mind having a work session. I would suggest that we kind of close off the appointment, the application list. And the 2 people, as I say, again, 2 people I've talked to, I don't think we need 2 resolutions. I think we just need 1 resolution and saying that resolution that anybody who's on a committee, has to resign from their committee within 24 hours.
So I will just suggest for us to do 2 to make sure it's clearness on the record. I mean, it's not going to affect them anyway. It's just like on the record. So that way later on, we do not get a challenge on who we appointed based on filling our own resolution. Okay, so Jamie's suggestion is to take this to the work session because a lot more people have been added and it'll give us time to be able to discuss it, analyze it, read through the resumes, and also to reach out to the last member that's part of a committee to let them know, to find out if they're still interested, and let them know also that they will have to resign within 24 hours as well. So give us that time and see whether they want to or not. 100% and close off the application because you're right, Jimmy, is still open. And at this point is like, we're very happy. Thank you everybody that decided to apply, but we definitely need to put, we need to close it ideally tonight, if not tomorrow morning. So Council, you heard the recommendations from Councilmember Tarlow. I need to hear from you guys as well. So we're gonna go Jared, Valerie, and Luke. Go ahead.
Yep, I agree that I've had time to look at resumes. I would like a little bit more time to discuss on the work session next week. But I just wanted to say I'm also thrilled to see so many folks are submitted their interest, and like this committee and other ones are interested in stepping up and volunteering to serve the community. So really happy that we have so many community-minded and interested folks here. That's all.
Thank you, Jared. Valerie?
Thank you. Sorry, my connection is a little unstable. I agree. I think it's good that we have so many people that are raising their hand to step up and participate in this. I think that we should definitely read through the current ordinance on this to make sure that we're appointing people correctly. And I look forward to discussing it further in the work session.
Thank you so much. Luke?
Agree to putting this on the work session. I do think we're fine if we just write one ordinance and write the ordinance where people have to resign after 24 hours. I think the record's clear in our conversations that all these meetings that are recorded, and as well at being on the ordinance. I don't think we have to worry about someone saying that we were doing anything wrong, because we've made it clear here on record. So I'm comfortable with being it on one ordinance, and that just saves folks a little bit of work.
I didn't mean ordinance. I mean calling for 2 different votes.
Oh,
If we
I see.
appoint
Yep.
somebody, let's say we appoint people that are in other committees, so we appoint the first, X amount, and then the ones that are committee pending that. The other thing I'm gonna be requesting, especially I know that the Ethics Commission has different clause, the Police Advisory Board does, and I believe the Board of Election does this one as well. That for us, for the application, put a wording that says, please be advised that you are applying to this commission. If you get selected, you have 24 hours to resign. Do you fully understand that? And are you willing to resign, right? So that way from the application, from the electronic application input is there as well. So that's something I'm definitely asking communications to add to them, to those committees, right? So make sure up front they know, and if they decide to move forward, they're fully aware that that's what we've been asking. The other thing is, like, if any of them are, we will open up whatever positions are being fulfilled if any of them are moving forward to the next one. Okay. Some of them require a little more training than the others. All right. So council review the information. Mr. Kamali and communications team, can you guys please close the application process? If not tonight, tomorrow morning. So that way we no longer take any more. Do it tomorrow morning. I need you guys to be here at 9 p.m. doing this. Do it tomorrow morning. And if anybody comes in like last minute between here and tomorrow 9 o'clock, well, then we're fine. We'll just add them to the list. All right. So thank you for everybody. Hold on. Thank you for everybody that has applied. Jimmy, were you trying to say something else?
Yeah, it's just, Mayor, maybe the city clerk could just send out an email to all the applicants quoting the ordinance that you have to resign, and just say, will you be willing to resign, just so we know that when we have the vote. I mean, that way if people, officially, I mean, there are 3 people, and just sending them an email saying this is what the ordinance says, and will you be willing to resign if you get appointed. So that way they
24 hours from the appointment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it will be like that by the end of like the business day, like the next day.
Yeah.
All right, Melissa, you need clarity on that one, or we're good?
I'm good, Mayor.
So if you could send that email out and let them know that once appointed, the end of the next day, at the end of business day, they have to resign for the appointment to carry. Okay. If you have any questions about what it needs to say, Jimmy and I definitely are available, and you can send it our way. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa. So move this. Can you guys make a note that this is going to be moved to the work session as well? Thank you, Melissa. All right. Moving on to the next item. Moving on to the next item, vote on approval of the minutes. Mayor and council will vote on approving the minutes for May 18 work session, September 20 work session, October 6th legislative meeting public hearing. I apologize, May 18, 2021, September 20, 2022, and October 6, 2022. These minutes were presented to us at the work session. And if you guys need to make any adjustments, you have your fair share to make them. So can I have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Seconded.
Is it probably moved and second? Any discussion?
I just have one thing. The agenda package that I received didn't actually have the minutes in them. I know we had received them before, but I just want to make a note of that in the future. They can be added to the package for a second review.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Can you make sure the minutes are also added to the package, please?
The 3 minutes that's in front of you,
Yes.
you didn't receive it in the agenda package?
No, yours
Yes,
goes to 85 and my pages ended at 73. I don't know. I don't know if they're in here. I don't.
No. So these minutes were presented at previous meetings. The only minute that was presented is the one for October 18 is in the package.
No, what she's asking, Melissa, is like for the second reading, make sure the minutes are also there. So they're in the work session package and the legislative package. So we're gonna vote on something that is in the package as well.
Okay, sure.
Am I correct, Valerie?
Yes, that's right. So just so we have a second chance to review them.
Yeah. And basically, thank you so much, Valerie and Melissa. So basically, anything we're gonna discuss or vote on, just throw it in the package. Even if we have reviewed it 3 times, it doesn't matter. Just put it in there so that way we have the complete package to review from instead of like digging through items. All right. So that was anything else for discussion? I'll be calling the question for a vote. Any abstentions? Objections? Hearing none, the minutes for May 18, 2021, September 20, 2022, and October 6, 2022 have all been approved unanimously. Thank you, Melissa and Gabby, for working on this. It's really appreciated. I know, Melissa, what are you gonna do with your free time once you're all done with the 2021 minutes? I don't know, Melissa. All right, moving on to item number 13, adjournment. Do I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adjourn the meeting has been probably moved in second. Any discussion? Objection? Abstention? Hearing none, this meeting has come to an end at 8:56 p.m. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, staff, for all the work and for hanging out with us. Chief, I see you're here as well. Thank you. And to the various staff members that were here, Jared, Melissa, Kamali, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Okay? Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Good night.